Hello, welcome back to Forge Yourself Forward. I'm your host, Mike. When do you know to take a step back? To take your foot off the gas a little, either to recharge, to heal, or to allow yourself an opportunity to just get back to neutral. If you were to go on social media, whether it's on self-improvement, self-development, improving yourself, getting stronger, better, anything, one thing that seems to be very pervasive among it is this belief that no matter what, it has to be hustle all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if you ever want to change, get better, or ultimately just not be the same person you were last year. But how does that work when reality actually hits you? Maybe when you have an injury, maybe when you have an illness, maybe when you're tired, or maybe when you don't quite know what the next step you should do is. This is what happened to me about 2 to 3 weeks ago. You notice I haven't posted anything since Halloween. The reason being is a few days after that, I actually came down with a really strong cold. For whatever reason, it initially started with just some sniffles and a headache, turned to chills, it turned to general weakness, fatigue. I was forced to sleep a lot, couldn't work out for well over a week, which is very unusual for me. And it was something that I was kind of beating myself up for initially. But then I realized, why? If my body's telling me that I'm not at my best, that clearly there's something wrong. I mean, if you're shivering and you have the chills, clearly something's wrong, because that's not normal, especially for somebody who's 38. Maybe I need to listen to my body. The other thing that you need to put into perspective that I think a lot of people don't is when you're thinking about your life over a long period of time, or you're thinking about your goal, is it a 30-day goal, a 60-day goal, or is it a 10-year goal, a 20-year goal, a lifetime goal? For me, my goal is really simple. I want to be as healthy and physically fit as I possibly can for the rest of my life. So that's not a goal that I'm going to be able to accomplish in 30 days or 90 days or in a year. No, it's probably something I'm thinking about for hopefully the next 40 years, 50 years, maybe even 60, depending on where medical science goes. So why wouldn't I rest when I'm sick? Why wouldn't I rest when my knee hurts? I was talking to my mom the other day, and she had injured her knee. And one of the things that I keep trying to remind her is it's not about today. It's about the longevity. You allow the muscles, the bones, the structure to heal, and over time you try a little bit more, you see how it goes. If you need medical intervention, you go to a doctor. If it's just a pulled muscle, you give it time. Nothing great happens instantly. Nothing worth having comes easily. These are sayings that you hear all the time. Why do you hear them all the time? Because they matter, because they're real. Because the fact of the matter is you can't have your foot on the gas every single day. Life is not a sprint. I know it's cliche. Everyone talks about it. Life's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Well, yeah, kind of. Think about it this way. If you were to try and read a 1,000-page book, would you sit down and try to read every single page all in one day? Probably not. I don't think that many people have 20 hours to just sit and read. It'd be insane. What you do is you start small. Maybe you read 10, 15, 20 pages. And then you put the book down and you come back to it tomorrow. No different than a workout. You don't try and do every single body part and every single rep in the entire week in one day. No. You have a plan. You have a workout. And what do you do when life gets in the way? You alter the plan, but the goal stays the same. Same thing that happened for me. I took a week off of the gym. I came back, I did 2 days in a week just to see how I would do. I didn't go heavy. I didn't push myself to exhaustion. I just tried to go through the motions and get myself back in, get moving, get seeing what happens. And I'm still having a bit of a cough. And this is 3 weeks later, and I'm still having a bit of a cough. But it's substantially better than it was. And I know over the next few weeks to months, not only will I be fully back, I'll be better than I was before I even got sick. And that's the way you have to look at things. At least that's the way I feel you have to look at things. And I suggest that you look at it the same way. If you're not making progress, or if your body's telling you something, or your mind's telling you something, maybe instead of fighting it and try to out hustle it or outwork it, maybe listen. I'm not saying be lazy. I'm not saying sit on the couch and eat Doritos or just give up working out or following a plan. No. But you know the difference between being lazy and listening to your body when it needs rest. You'll never get better if you don't rest, if you don't listen. But that's part of maturity. And guess what? Maybe if you take a little extra rest than you're supposed to, in the grand scheme of things, over a long view, is that really something that's going to set you back? Or is it something that allows you to move forward better? It's something to consider. It's just one of the things I wanted to talk about. Knowing when to rest. And sometimes making that more of a priority than pushing yourself beyond what is probably intelligent at the time. Give it a chance, listen to your body, and take a long view, and then see what happens. That's the goal. That's how you forge yourself forward over the long period of time. That's how you become your best. Thanks for joining.